guys, and welcome back. Today we're going to be taking a look at another list in the 2024 NHL Draft, this time Craig Button's final rankings. Now you guys know I love to look at Craig Button's rankings because he does not care at all what anybody else thinks. He'll put whatever player he wants where, and it's honestly pretty incredible. So today we're going to be taking a look at the top 96 prospects on his board, seeing what I agree, what I disagree with, and what are the most interesting picks from his ranking. Well, we're going to be breaking that all down here today, so make sure you watch till the end for all the picks and hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you're new for more hockey prospect content. We are so close to the draft and you won't want to miss a thing. Now we got the little teaser here from TSN Hockey saying that forwards TJ Ginla and Cole Eiserman surge up the board while there's a new #1 blue liner in our final Craig's list of the season by Craig Button, 96 player ranking. Let's get into it. Now here is his top 2 picks in the 2024 draft, and honestly the fact that I agree with Craig Button for his first 2 picks is actually a miracle. But as you could probably predict, there is going to be some crazy ones, and let's go through the rest of the top 5 here through 3 through 5. Let's reveal it here. And there you go. You got Celebrini, Demidov 1, 2. Then you got TJ Ginla at 3rd overall, Zvu at number 4, and Cole Eiserman at 5th place. Now, Craig justifies his pick talking about how they drafted Jarome Iginla back with the Stars all the way back then, and talking about, I go back and I look at my notes at Jarome, they are different types of players. I don't want to say they're the same thing, but they process the same type of things, like massive effectiveness, massive substance, the ability to make things happen. We drafted Jarome and we really liked him, but he was so much better than we thought, and we thought he'd be a really good player, and I'm kind of caught up in the same boat as Teach. Listen, you guys know I love TJ Ginla as much as the next guy. He, to me, I think is going to be a great foundational top 6 winger who will just bring great intensity and a great brain to the game and good physical traits as well. And there's a lot to like there too with the developing shot and how he's starting to get adjusted to that. I still think there is a lack of top end offensive ceiling, which is why he wouldn't touch the top 5 for me, but he's someone that if you really bet on the physical traits and the growth curve there, then sure, I could see Iginla being that type of guy for it. I still think though he maxes out as a 60-65 point guy, which is still pretty great considering the tools and the physical traits he's going to be establishing every single shift. But again, I think at 3rd overall, I'd want to have somebody who I believe could be around a point per game or push offense in the way that I think Iginla just probably can't. But besides that, I can see where he's coming from. I mean, Zvu is my best defenseman, and he has him at 4th overall, which is exactly where I have him in my rankings. You also got Cole Eiserman at number 5, which I do respect, considering I do think he played better in the second half and was starting to adapt more defensively. I still don't think he'll be a juggernaut two-way forward at any point in his career, but I do still think Eiserman has a ton of potential that is kind of getting underrated at this point. I know I kind of started the hate train towards Cole Eiserman, but I don't think he deserves to be outside the top 10 or outside the top 15. I still think you get a great player there, and if it's overall, I can see why they'd have him there. Now we go to the next couple picks, and these are pretty fascinating. You got Konsta Helenius 6th overall, Zane Parekh at number 7, and Artyom Levshunov at number 8. Now Konsta Helenius at 6th overall, kind of the same thing as TJ Ginla, where I don't see incredible offensive potential. It's worse in Konsta Helenius' case because I really don't see him being more than an okay second line center, which is still valuable, but I do think in Helenius' case, he just doesn't have the top end pop to really be able to explode more than the IQ and the agility he has. And to me, he's somebody that I think will just top out as a good middle 6 centerman. And at 6th overall, that to me is pretty rich. I mean, I like it, I respect it, but at the same time, Helenius would be a guy that just because of so much inside the top 10 kind of is outside of it for me. I do respect the Parekh over Levshunov pick though. I mean, Parekh is somebody that offensively I think has a ton of potential. To me though, I just see the growth curve in a player like Iginla, and I apply it to Levshunov as well. With how new he is to just the North American game in general, it's astounding how well he's developed and how well he's rebounded, being so new to everything here. And he's somebody that just has so much potential and is working at an incredible rate. I mean, again, with everything we've heard at Michigan State, with how much of a workhorse he is, to me, he's going to work his way to be a quality NHLD. And I think the floor is incredible there. I also think the offensive potential in the overall game, I don't know. I feel like there could be more talent, more value in Levshunov than Parekh, but we'll have to wait and see. Then we go to the rest of the top 10, and you got Caden Lindstrom at 9th overall and Sam Dickinson at number 10. Now, this one does hurt because I hate to see my boy Caden Lindstrom at 9th overall. Maybe he knows something about the injury there that might take him back, but to me, there's not really much of a reason to put Caden Lindstrom this low, in my opinion. There are times where some of the decision-making and the positioning, especially offensively, can be a little bit questionable, but I think besides that, he's still a pretty young prospect. He's someone that has been quickly developing with his frame and with the size and the skill he has, and is still learning how to apply himself. And that to me will be an adjustment to make over the next couple of years in junior. But he's someone just with the potential of the shot, with the quickness, with the skill set, with the physical play. I mean, there's so much to like about him. I just, even though he's quite a bit raw, I think there's just too much to like to have him outside the top 8, but that's just me. At number 10, having Sam Dickinson. I think we as a society are starting to underrate Dickinson. I mean, I have him at 7th on my board, but he's practically tied in that range of Levshunov, Berkly, Catton, and him. He to me just has so many translatable traits, and sure, is there the weird off decision making? Yes, I do think there are times where he can kind of force plays a little bit, but with the physical traits, the unbelievable skating ability, the way that he jumps into play, the confidence there, I think he could absolutely become a number 1 D, and I would not be shocked if he's playing 20 plus minutes a night for an NHL team someday. And at 10th overall, you take that every day of the week. Then we go on to the rest of the top 15, and this one's pretty interesting. You got Beckett Seneca at 11th, Anton Silayev at 12, and I love to see this. Craig Button is also a Silayev hater. I'm obviously joking, but at 12th overall, this is around the range. I also have Silayev as well. He's someone that I just think with the limited offensive upside, it's just somebody that I think will be an NHLer because of the skating and the physicality. There's no way NHL teams won't give him a chance, but I just don't think he's going to be more than a 25-point guy, which could still be good with the skating pedigree he has, but I just think he's too raw at this stage to give a top 10 pick to, and looks like Craig Button agrees. But I was too busy with Anton Silayev at 12 to see that Tarek Parasak was at 13th. Okay, I mean, this to me is incredible. I mean, Tarek Parasak is a beauty. Okay, he had a brilliant WHL rookie season. He was incredible for Prince George, exactly the fit and the time and place that he needed to be. But 13th overall, I mean, that's pretty nuts to me. I just don't see the skating ability or the physical traits, the strength, or I think really the offensive skill set to be this top 15 pick. I think he works hard. You can see that every single shift, and I think his IQ, his positioning is incredibly sound. But I think besides that, there's just a lot of question marks, especially once he transitions to the pro game. That top 15 pick, I mean, I respect the hustle, but that to me is pretty nuts. Especially over Berkly Catton, who, I'm sorry, if we're talking about potential, I mean, Tarasek is down here while Catton is all the way up at the top. To me, the two are not even close in any direction, any conversation. But you know what? The hot takes are brewing, and you'll love to see it. You also got Connor Yakimchuk as well at that 15th spot, which honestly is a little bit lower than I expected Craig Button to have him. I was pretty sure he'd have him inside the top 10, but you got the group of WHL guys right there. Not the order I would have them in, that's for sure, but again, I love the spiciness. I was about to say, man, I was loving this top 10, top 15 until that Tarasak pick. That, to me, just blew it out of the water. But we keep going, and inside the top 20, these next few picks are pretty interesting. EJ Emery at 16th overall. He's somebody that I've liked quite a bit in this second half. He had a great U18 Worlds. I mean, he's somebody that I think kind of like a player like Silayev. Doesn't have the offensive traits to be a top 20 guy for me, but I can respect it with the athleticism, with the defensive play, with the skating. There's a lot to like there, and I think he will be a great minutes muncher in the NHL. And you got the next few picks. Michael Brandsegg-Nygard to me is way too low. He's somebody that just brings a lot of good traits, a lot of projectable habits, and with the physical traits, with the shooting ability, he's somebody that I think has a little bit of unlocked offensive potential. And at 17, that to me is a pretty big steal. But then Craig makes me happy again. Jet Luchenko at 18th overall. I love this. Luchenko gang, we are thriving today. I love my small boy. He's so smart, so quick, such a great teammate, such a great leader on the ice. Love to see him at 18. Adam Yurchek at 19 is pretty fun as well. Even though he had that major injury, I'm still a believer in because of the skating ability. I think the physical tools that are there. He's somebody that I still could see rounding into a great bottom pair D someday. We'll see what happens, but I think the potential is higher than some people like to admit in Yurchek's case. And then you got Stian Solberg, also my boy. Love to see him here. But then we finish off the rest of the first round, and there's some pretty interesting ones here. I mean, you got Julius Metzinen at 22nd overall. To me, he's somebody that has some great physical tools, already has been very well developed. I just don't really know the potential there. He's somebody that just isn't very translatable in the offensive game, in my opinion. He's somebody that has to be in the offensive zone, and with other players around him to really get cooking. I think his transition ability is pretty poor, and the skating ability that isn't anything remarkable, I think could also hold him back. but we'll have to wait and see on that. I like to see Greentree still around this range. I still think he's pretty underrated. And the rest of it isn't too crazy. You got Cole Hutson, though, at 26, which honestly might be the highest I've ever seen him. I respect it, though. Even though I'm not as bullish on Cole, he's somebody that I think with Lane's success, of course, I think paves more of a way for Cole to get some recognition. I still do prefer Lane, but Cole is going to be an interesting project as well. And then you go with the rest of the first round. I mean, you got players like Andrew Basha in here, which I do like to see. He's somebody that I kind of expect to be outside the first round, but he's in here. I do like to see some Cole Baudouin love, but at 27, Trevor Connolly, I mean, you must be really betting on the physical traits not really being there, him not being able to handle offensive pressure once it gets a lot higher in the lineup. I still think with the offensive tools there, the ability to create anything around the net with the little time and space he has, I still bet on him inside the top 20, but I could see why you'd be a little bit more sluggish on. But now we're just going to go through the rest of the list and go through the guys that I find most interesting. Max Plante at 33rd is pretty fun. I mean, he's kind of up the same alley as Camille Bednarik and Brody Ziemer. I don't think he has the pure offense, in my opinion, to match those guys, but I do like to see it. Again, I'm more of a Brody Ziemer guy, but Plante I also respect quite a bit. Then you keep going, Sam O'Reilly, I like to see him there. I mean, you got my boys in Merrick Vanacker and Sam O'Reilly back to back. Two guys who I think should be around that first round range that are right in there knocking on the door. Then you got at 38, Justin Poirier, and he's somebody that's been lighting up the queue, and he's somebody that I've been asked about a couple of times. I love how exciting he is. He's electric around the net, and his skill set is incredible. I just feel like the skating is not there, especially for a size at 5'7". You really need to be a dynamic skater, or at least somebody with an incredible physical presence, and Poirier just doesn't have either of those traits. At 47, Adam Kleber. I'm a little bit more higher on Kleber, but I do like to see him inside the top 50. Kleber gang, we are rising up, boys and girls. I mean, the physical traits, I love him. He is so much fun, especially physically with his skating, with how he's jumping into play more and more. Kleber, man, I just hope he turns out. I hope he is a thing because I would love him to be. But then you got Dominic Badinka at 48, and I could see it because of some question marks, maybe with the decision-making offensively. There's a little bit of a lack of ceiling there, but I love Badinka. He's squarely inside my top 25. I could see why you'd have issues with him, but I also feel like even if he is an offensive D, he has all the characteristics and the aggressiveness to be an excellent defensive one, and to me at 48, give me that all day. Oh, but man, Craig, Teddy Stiga at 64th overall. That is just not going to work out for me. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but we will not let that happen. Again, I could see why there might be issues with him not being a quality, at least electrifying forward, especially for his size. And I will admit, he's not the most exciting player in the world, but man, does that guy work. Man, does that guy put in the work. And I think he's incredibly smart with it too. The way he's able to win in battles along the boards, feed pucks into the net, find his teammates in any situation. I love Stiga so much, man. And right at the end of the second, I mean, that is house money. Give me that all day. I will take it. Interestingly, he's not a big fan of Dean Letourneau, at least compared to most. I have him in my, I think, early 40s in my rankings. He's somebody that I'm still kind of in the middle, I think of. I like the traits. I like the skills that he has for his size. It could be create an absolute unicorn in the NHL someday, but I do think there's a big chance that he busts just because of the lack of competition and the question marks about how he's going to be able to use his frame and how much he's going to be really an effective forward. And at 69, I can respect being a little bit more hesitant. He's somebody that kind of meet in the middle on. I don't think he's a first rounder by any means, but 69, I think the potential might be a little bit too high to put him this low. But to me, there's a lot of quality NHL talents, especially in this third round. I like Adam Dzeko at the 62nd overall spot. Henry Mews, I am not the biggest fan of, but at 70th overall, could become a bottom pair D. Luke Misa at 71st. I mean, I know that he's somebody that doesn't have the greatest physical traits for the game he plays, more as a forward-checking, play-driving forward. But I like Misa with the speed, with the skills that he has. I think at 71st overall, that is great value. I mean, even like Jesse Polkinen at 75th, that's a ton of talent there, a ton of potential. That at 75 could be really something. Brody Ziemer gang, we lost today, 76th, he's 76th overall. I mean, I don't get that from just how translatable he is. He's somebody that I get just absolutely see all day becoming an NHLer, working his way to at least a fourth line role. And at 76, man, I mean, that's again, easy. In Ziemer's case, with the leadership too, there's so much to like there. Oh no, and then the Ole Josephson gang, we did not win today. We did not win today at all. We got him at 94th overall. He's somebody that I know I am higher on than pretty much everybody in the world, I feel like. But I just love this kid. He's such a busy bee. He's somebody that just works so hard. He's just somebody that you just have so much fun watching out there with the speed, with the intensity, and he's somebody that I don't think is gonna be anything special, but man, is that guy gonna work his way up like Brody Zemer. I love my guys that just work every single shift, bring some intensity, bring some speed, bring just opposition, create pressure, especially in my bottom six. If I were creating a team, I would have a line full of Ole Josephsons and Brody Zemers and these type of guys, because they make life just so difficult for the other team without just being physical guys. They aren't just physical guys, they also can bring speed and can bring a little bit of an offensive edge. And in Ole Josephson's case, man, you can get a great bottom sixer 94. Take it, please. I need somebody to draft this man high because he deserves it. Now, even though there were some complaints here and there, and some players would have a lot higher, some players a lot lower, honestly, I could see where Craig is coming with a lot of this. Honestly, this 2024 draft is so wide open where you could have a player that I have in my 4th round in the 2nd. I'd be like, well, I mean, I could see it. I mean, there is traits there is some interesting parts. That's just how wide open this draft is. Really, after 1st overall, 2nd overall, things get absolutely wide open. And especially once you're past like pick 20, to me, there are so many guys that could be in any range whatsoever. And that's kind of what makes this draft interesting. I don't think it's anywhere near the best, but man, is it balanced and is going to create some interesting rankings. And most importantly, on draft day, some wild, out of nowhere picks. But I want to know your thoughts down below on Craig Button's list, and of course I'll link it in the description down below if you want to check it out for yourselves. And let me know what you guys agree, what you guys disagree with the list, and what would your 2024 draft rankings look like. Of course, make sure you share the video with all the hockey fans you guys know online. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell if you haven't already, and click on this card for all the 2024 draft content. So much there for you to binge watch, and I will see you in the next one. I hope you have a fantastic hockey day, and goodbye.